I'm that nigga with the plug.
Please need that, nigga, that me, I'm the plug. Really on the plug, really on the plug.
What up, it's your boy Go DJ.
And it's your girl Maddie D.
And this is The Plug, you heard.
This is theplug.com.
We got a special guest in the building.
Very special.
I like
Live
that.
at the Strand right now. We got Caleb Colossus.
Whoop, whoop. Welcome to The Plug.
I'm happy to be here.
We're glad we got to pull up and get to, vibe with you guys.
This is big time.
Big time, big time. We got the lights, we got the stage, we're
Right.
chilling right now.
About to get blind.
For real. First time in Rhode Island?
First time in New England, period.
Wow.
Okay.
It's cool. It's kind of what I expected. It looks,
Yeah.
you visualize a certain place before you go. It's what I thought it would be.
Little 13 colony vibes.
I like it. It's 13 colony, you reading books and,
You know what's crazy? People don't know what Rhode Island is. Like, you go somewhere, people are like, Long Island?
Everyone
I
thinks it's
studied
Long
in
Island.
school. I know a little something.
Alright, makes
It's a little
sense.
something.
Alright, I respect that. You're from Georgia.
Atlanta, Georgia.
Born and raised.
Born and raised, he said. Word. You was in a barbershop with what? Killer Mike?
Killer Mike, Tip, Troy.
Yep. There was one more.
We had another dude.
Yeah.
Joe, I'm just playing. My boy Joe.
That's actually your boy? Like,
Nah, we was cool from the show.
oh, okay.
Met him on the show.
Makes sense. Yeah, I was about to say, shit.
Nah.
So coming from a place where it's so like basically musically inclined, like you have some greats coming from Atlanta, T.I., 2 Chainz, Migos. How do you feel that that kind of affects you in representing your city?
It's big. I mean, I the first people I ever grew up on was Outkast. My first album was Speaker Box, Below. Atlanta's just like a hub. So many different styles of hip hop. You got the Outkast and you got the Luda, and then it's transformed to like Young Thug and Gunna and Future, Gucci. So it's a place of a lot of different styles and culture. But that's what I love about Atlanta the most. I feel like if you can be accepted anywhere, you can be accepted in Atlanta. So
True.
it's dope.
The new mecca of hip hop.
I love
Black
Outkast
Hollywood.
so much.
That's the
No,
dopest.
Outkast is like was so big for me. It's crazy. Growing up, I like Big Boy more. Than I like Andre. Now it's like
Wow.
I think I fully understand Andre more and his whole image. So I like they're still equal to me. I think Big Boy's the most underrated rapper.
Yeah. So how was it like in the show to be like judged by Big Boy?
I think that was probably the craziest for me. Obviously, I saw Tip the day before or the day of, whatever. But Big Boy was just it was crazy because that was like one of the first people that I really got into. And he's been out for so long. So for them to even take the time to listen to, normally you think you're running to people in the mall or like CVS or something. Like, yo, let me get some bars off. So it was cool for them to be sitting down and listening to us, and it was just amazing experience.
Facts. And it was dope that it's like you had Amigo, you had Quavo, and then you had
Right,
Big
you had
Boy,
to have
and it's
like we got different generations of it.
Yeah.
So I think that was a cool little touch that they added to it.
Facts, that was dope. And bringing up Outkast, I feel like not your whole style, but like you can see that you're influenced
for
somewhere
sure.
that way. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like
I love
It's not
Outkast's
only
music
trap,
for that. Yeah, exactly. I was just gonna say that it's not just you can't really put it into one place, into one box, and I think that's how you are too.
Yeah, for sure. Because obviously, Outkast is they grew. They didn't. Every album that they have doesn't sound exactly the same, and I feel like for me, going forward, all the music that I make is gonna be different. I feel like I definitely have a range, and I can dip my hand in different stuff. So yeah, for sure.
that's fact. You went to college. You said you was 5 years in college. You played football.
Right.
What position were you?
Play corner, man.
Corner?
And it's too wearing on the body. And I always was like middle school, growing up playing Pop Warner, even in high school, going to college. You have that dream of like going to the league, which I found out very fast it wasn't going to happen.
Not easy.
But yeah, it's definitely not easy. And I just I was too inspired by music. I'd be like out in the field, I'd be at practice, be in meetings, and I just was losing passion for it. I never thought that would ever happen. Obviously I still love watching football. I'm forever gonna be into it, but it's just like at the you hit a wall where you can't play anymore, and music took over. It was always like football first and music was like, in the background. But after a while, it switched, and it switched pretty fast.
Yeah.
Was you turning up to yourself during the pregame?
Nah, I wasn't there yet where I was even gonna fake like my music was hitting like that.
So was you listening to you?
I was I would listen to everything. Cole, Eminem, anything hype, But I wasn't listening to myself.
Right, yeah, before you go.
Shit wasn't hitting.
You know what I'm saying? Catch that interception real quick. He's like,
That wasn't it.
How do you feel that your work ethic in music, in football, helped you in music?
Well, that's a good question. I definitely, especially when I was at the school before the last school I went to, I had a coach, and I've had coaches that are really like those, movie kind of coaches where you're like, this dude like has no filter kind of thing. And I to be honest, I kind of thrive on that. I thrive on like having discipline. I like having structure. You got to be here at a certain time in a sense, because it disciplines you. It makes you like accountable. And I liked having a coach that was kind of rigid, because I knew that if I did something good in those moments, that it was really deserved. I didn't like just having like a lot of like, you're good all the time, because after a while it just gets watered down. So I liked having constructive criticism. So with music and stuff like that, it's never gonna really bother me. It's just gonna make me want to get my bag more, really.
And is that what the show kind of like brought to you? Like,
yeah, for sure, because after leaving the show, like I had so many firsts on the show, like nobody knows. Like, my first performances on there, like even on the stage, like my first stage performance ever. Wow. So up to that point, I had 2 songs out. So it was new. Everything was new to me. It was happening so fast that it was like I was still pretty much a rookie in it, and to have gotten that far being so new is like,
that's fine.
It's a blessing in disguise. So I just took everything that happened on the show and all the experience, and it's got me here. So
yeah.
That's a fact, yeah. That's great. I didn't, you wouldn't even notice.
No, you killed that.
You expect everybody to just be so, deep into it. So
polished,
people are like, yeah, blah, 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 you got to get more. People say stuff like, somebody, had to have more confidence, or he looks like he hasn't been doing it. I'm like, shit, I haven't been doing it. What the hell? It's brand new. So, it's cool. It's a learning thing. I was really going through the fire as like a first time, so I'm never gonna get that crazy or opening of an experience like that ever again. So it's cool to have gone through it this early, because now the sky's really the limit.
Yeah,
that's crazy. Wow.
So what are you, speaking of you saying the sky's the limit, where are you at now, and how are you feeling now after the show?
The show feels like so distant to me, just musically, from the stuff that I was making. I told, after I left the show, I went and recorded my entire EP after I wrote everything and stuff, after I had beats and stuff that I had for years and stuff prior. But I was, really able to like hone in and focus, and after just getting all that feedback, and I felt like the project that I made was great, just all kind of, a culmination of everything, prior to the show, and then was really capped off after finishing the show. And it just really just being on the show in general just really helped me musically, just like kind of like hone in to like my sound and what I was trying to get across, what I wasn't getting across before in my music. So it was just extremely beneficial. It added your confidence after leaving that, and just being on the show period, for anybody. Like you gotta have some kind of confidence leaving that experience.
Yeah.
You was like what, the top 8?
Top 5.
Top 5?
Yeah.
Top word. So that's a long way.
So it's like you top 5 in America at basket weaving. You qualified in something, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Doesn't matter what it is, top 5 in anything is like, gotta be appreciative of it.
Yeah.
What was your favorite challenge or?
Oh, hands down, it was the videos.
The video, yeah.
I've always been into art, like, creativity. growing up watching like MTV Jams and all these MTV videos and stuff like that. Growing up, I always was inspired by like, yo, I want to be able to make my video one day and have my touch on it. And I think for the artist to appreciate your video is probably I feel like the highlight, because it's like your thought process, the way you think, plus the song on top of it. Your whole image, you just how you want to be shown as an artist. I think for them to embrace that is like more than them just embracing the song. It's like the total package. So that's what I really liked about the videos. And I feel like I was really able. That was the first time I could really show my creativity and just the way I think.
Because like the challenge is more like cypher, the freestyle.
Yeah, it was very limiting, and it's like you could go through that and think you like somebody more, and then you're like, I don't really know. And I think up until that point, just the way like how the rounds and stuff were going, I didn't feel like people really like necessarily understood me until that point. And they're like, okay.
Yeah, I think personally, that's where I understood you.
Yeah, I agree.
I like the visuals, and in the church, and
and it's like
there's crazy stuff going on, and it's like you could tell you actually sat there and was like
thinking about
I have this vision. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Wow, yeah.
And it went with the music. You know what I'm saying? Like it all went together, so it was pretty dope. What did Chance say? He brought up, if you're gonna do
the upside. Yeah, I ain't do all that. That wasn't me. Nah, hell no. I'm gonna put that
shit. Yeah. So someone else just.
Yeah, they probably did that last. I don't know what.
Yeah.
That if I would have seen that shit would have been scrapped. So.
Yeah. I mean, can't fix everything.
Can't fix everything.
That's a fact. But yeah, that the video was dope, and that's where like I really caught your drift, like. You know what I'm saying?
For sure. I think that was definitely the point for just a lot of people. It was like, okay.
Yeah. What was the toughest challenge for you?
It's tough, man. I think for the most stressful for me was, the first performance, the sample thing, because it was like I had never performed. Like when I say I haven't performed, like not no bars, like nothing. Like I didn't. I hadn't before. So the first time me going and, performing and doing stuff with a mic, because everybody's don't like karaoke and shit like that. But, like, that was the first time of, like, having a crowd and it's, like, my song, like, going and doing something. So I was nervous as hell. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like, it's going to, in the back of your head, it's like, it's so easy to say, like, oh, like this and that. But it's like, in that moment, like, I feel like that's why everybody was so close on the show, because we knew how it felt to be in that moment and have that. I've never been nervous like that in my life, because shit, whatever I do, good or bad, it's not getting scrapped, period. It's going on TV.
People's gonna see this.
100-something countries. If you don't like it, oh well, kind of thing. So you have that in the back of your head. If you say you don't, you're lying. Like it was always in the back of my head, like, yo, people are gonna see this, and you want to put on your best foot forward. And then you have to throw in the element of, we just finished recording a song 24 hours ago, so you have to memorize it and perform it and, do it in front of a crowd. It was just so many different factors. I think I went on a limb and used the auto-tune that round, something I never did before. It was just a lot of, like, first, and which made it just a little, more satisfying after I made it through that round.
Yeah, and you did it, man. Like,
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's tough, like, especially auto-tune, because auto-tune can mess up at any point.
Yeah, it was crazy, because it was one of those things. It was like the auto-tune like that I did, and the actual, when we recorded it, didn't sound anything like how it sounded in the mic. So it was that factor too of trying to make it still sound like the song. I knew I wasn't crazy about how the auto-tune ever sounded in performance, but I knew like it wasn't gonna get any better. And I just had to just kind of like rock with it, kind of thing. And it was cool, man. It got me to the next round. Like, it is what it is. Like,
he's like, guys, I made it through.
I have not much else to say about that. And then, as long as I got through, it was cool with me.
It's just interesting. Like, this is your like first go about with music, and then you're meeting these artists, going through stuff artists go through every day, meeting famous artists, doing music with like what was it, Tory Lanez, like. Come on, that's crazy.
In the first go around, it was just it's one of those things that I can never ask for more of the experience. I wasn't mad going home. I I was so appreciative of just even being there every round. I was happy to be there, man. It really was.
How do you feel like you've grown in this journey?
I think so much. I just so much more confidence in my music and just honing in on what I sound like. Cause you know when you're a newer artist, you do more experimenting. You don't really know if if this really sticks. You know, you got a lot of people around you. They're like, yo, this is fire. You just really don't know what direction to go in. And I think just really hearing it, from Grammy Award winning artists and, getting crowd response and getting coached up on stuff that you could fix. That's the first time you're getting professional, professional feedback. And I think music, especially music, is one of those areas out of any, job where you don't necessarily get professional feedback unless you're in it. You can, you're a doctor, you're in class for, subject, you get graded on stuff, blah, blah, blah. Music is so, opinionated that, some, your friends around you might love it and you might go up and perform in front of big dogs and they're like, you should never do music again.
Yeah.
So, you're saying it's just one of those things that was like, you never really knew. So me finally going and being able to, rap in front of them and them giving that okay, like, yo, you're good is like all the confirmation you could ever need.
Yeah, true.
That's a fact. I know you've gained like traction through your music.
Sure.
All these fans these followers turning into fans.
Yeah, I think I think one of the best decisions that I made was I released my project prior to the show, and I was really calculated with that because I knew I really liked my song Michelangelo I did for the video. I was like a little shaky about the one I did in the sample round, and I knew those two songs were so polar opposite different, and even my performance with Tori, and I know those weren't typically songs that I would make on a regular. So I was like, I feel like I need to give people like a total package so they can be like, okay, I see like what his sound is, because it was just kind of all over the place on the show. So I think when people went in, really like searched and looked me up after or during the show, they were like, oh, okay, like he makes more sense as a person. I understand him more now that I've digested a project from him.
Yeah.
Because not everyone's a battle rapper.
Yeah, it's really tough. I think some of the people I think even like Smoke and Flaws that did a good job of the show, the songs they did on the show really highlighted the music that they made. I feel like people like me, Troy, or like London, I feel like we stepped out a little more and did stuff that we might not typically make. But we did to get through the show, or did for that round, or we felt like we'll work for that. But I think that my whole mindset was after the show was making a project or something that I was like, okay, this is the package of Caleb. This is this is the music that I would typically make or make right now. So.
But thank you for.
Yeah, we are so appreciative of you coming on the show
cold
today.
conditions.
In Rhode Island.
In Rhode Island.
Like, so y'all gotta invite me in the summer, man.
Oh yeah, it's beautiful here in the summer.
This ain't it.
Summer is litty, I'm telling you.
And this is the plug.
Can you be my plug?